Okay, it is 10:03 a.m. and I've had two trades with GTII and neither of them worked out. Unless I happen to trade something else, this is actually going to be more of a bigger red day than normal, which is fine because I haven't had one in a while and it's not a little too crazy or anything like that. But I did have an interest in this one. It did have like a first green day here with a considerable amount of volume, at least compared to what it's traded before. And then this day was a bit nicer too. I did see this thing on the uptrend, but at no point was I interested in trading it because I knew it was late to the position. But I was interested in it for a potential bull flag, so like something that uptrends and then it downtrends a little, holds a support level, and then it continues the uptrend. That's what I was going for, and as you can tell, this thing absolutely failed. Worst case scenario, it just doesn't offer an opportunity to bounce. No potential bull flag setup. I mean, this is where it is right now. This is definitely not a bull flag, but I did try it a few times when it looked like it could have been one. The first one was at 9.49. I bought 60 shares at 49 and a half, and that was at this point right here at 9.49. I got in at the slightest indication that this thing was showing that it was trying to reverse because of the fact that it trades so quickly. And again, I was in it right here at 9.49 and a half. So again, right around here is when I got in. And then the next candle, you can tell this one had a wick. It really sucked, and I did get out of it because I thought it was going to hold like this 145 range. I thought it was going to just briefly break below the 150s, and then I'm in at 49 and a half. It kind of holds support, and then it continues the uptrend. And that was not the case when it was breaking well below 145 and it was touching VWAP. I did get out at 950 the next minute in this wick right here at 140. And yeah, this one sucked and all, but it could have worked out. And that was the idea with that. And then I tried it one more time at 953. I was in at 44 and a half right here. Now that it was not just showing that it was maybe trying to hold this level, especially around VWAP, but it now officially got out of the trend line, the downtrending trend line. And again, that was an entry right here at 953 at 44 and a half. This one just did not work out. As you can tell, big ugly red candle. I got out at 955, which was right here, and I was out at 130. Yeah, it really sucks. I got out right here. Big ugly red candle, literally the biggest red candle in this entire chart right here. But that's just unfortunate. And I did give it a little bit of a chance, thinking that it might try to come back the way it did here when I got out at the 140 point when I was in at 149. And then I thought, it might just do like another wick and then uptrend a bit the next few minutes, and then I could sell for not as much of a loss. But that wasn't the case. As you could tell, this thing sold off. So it was at the point where it broke under VWAP and I was considering selling, and it was in the 130s. And then it got to the point where I thought, this thing doesn't show that it's trying to at least consider making like a comeback or a wick like it did here. And for that reason, I did get out of it at 130. And that was good because it, didn't really get back to that 130 level right here, and it continued to sell off. So, yeah, this one just really sucked, especially this one with the big red candle. And I'm not interested in trading this one anymore unless it does something like super obvious or super clean. Just because of the fact that it trades with a wide, I guess not really a wide spread. It's just very quick the way it goes from one direction to the other. The level two is almost useless to look at. That's pretty much about it. I'm not looking at anything else. Nothing really seems to be that interesting or have any, decent amount of volume to, find a potential setup. It's really just GTII right now. And I will make an update. I still might consider a dip buy setup, but I'm much less interested in it because of how ugly the wick looks right here. And yeah, because of that big wick, it kind of really gives off a vibe that it's gonna not be able to bounce, or if it does, not that much. Okay, it is 10:15. I should have been getting out right now and maybe a sell into the 120 level, although it can continue the uptrend. Yeah, because you can tell right here in this uptrend it first had, it broke this uptrending trend line right here, but then it tried to catch itself very rapidly. it could try to do something like that. But I should be out at 120 instead of the sell I had at 118. I did try again, and I got in right when it looked like it was trying to turn around. And this time, it was probably a bit better than the first try here and the other try right here, because it doesn't have as much volume as it did right here. So in theory, if there's less volume, maybe the big sellers with a lot of size have gone out, so at least a lot of them. So now I can actually offer a better opportunity for it to bounce. I did buy 100 shares, much more of a position size because it is lower. And also, I moved down my risk level thinking worst case scenario I'll get out at 80. Just because of the way it panics in it. It did have a first day and it's up on a gap up too. So that's one thing to take into consideration. That was the previous close. So I figured that at this point when I was in at 10.12, I got in at $1 and this 12 and a half level right here. Worst case scenario, I thought it was going to break 106, big red candle like this, craziness, and worst case I'm out at this 80 level, which might be a little excessive, but that's the way I have my risk levels right now. And it did uptrend, and I got out the moment it looked like it was showing some kind of a topping price action, just because I wanted to be super cautious with it, especially after the first two trades that didn't work out. And I did get out at 18 and a half, and that was at 10.13. So I got out right here at 18 and a half at this point. It did get as high as the 120s, and then it just started to show like some topping price action, some selling price action, and I wasn't wanting to be a part of that, so I got out. But it did continue to hold this trend line from this corner, from the first candle, before the reversal to the first corner of this one that was actually starting the reverse. I should have been out at the 120s, I mean, which would have been just $1.50 more. But if it were to have went to VWAP and it held this line, I would have been very salty with a sell at 18 and a half. So that was the idea with that. And I'll be watching to see if maybe it tries to hang on here, then aggressively try to regain the trend line, or if it's just going to downtrend from here. But I'm glad I had this trade. It's gonna, take out a lot of the losses from the first two trades, but at this point, there probably isn't something I want to trade with it unless it does something clean, maybe like an inverse head and shoulders. At the moment, there isn't anything I want to trade right now. Okay, it is 8:13 p.m. and I am going to be down on the day $8.10, and that was three trades with GTII, and they just didn't work out. I actually don't feel bad with the amount I lost. I could have lost even more if I traded like a dumbass and I just held on to a position and then just figured, oh, it'll just bounce back eventually. It'll come back, and I'm in at that 149 level and it drops as low as $1.11, which would be massive. It did offer a little bit of a bounce. This is the one that I traded. It did get to VWAP later over a longer period of time. And it also did this. This was nice. It seems like the 11 a.m. setup doesn't really work anymore. It seems to happen more at 12 now. And this one is not the best example because it was up on the day. But we did hit that 12 o'clock time period and it did make a move above VWAP. The 117s is, yeah, as high as the 140s. And just to go over it, my first trade was kind of here, right here, kind of early. And then the second one was right here. And now this candle looks really big. Yeah, unfortunately, it just broke through the VWAP level and it didn't offer any kind of bounce back. It just got to that new level in the 120s and it continued to downtrend some more. There wasn't anything else that I was interested in trading. This one I'm going to delete because it just doesn't have any volume, unfortunately. This one has a little bit more volume. I feel like if this thing has a big drop, it's going to have enough volume for a morning panic bounce play, which would be ideal. Nothing with IOUS that I was interested in today. Nothing with TXTM either. Nothing with HMBL. And nothing with MUND, which I'll probably remove as well because this one's kind of sketchy the way it trades. Just three trades with GTII. None of them worked out. It's going to be a little bit of a bigger red day, but I have no problem with that. It's still nothing too crazy. And I think I traded the best that I could, and there were clearly some things that I could have done better, and that's a good learning lesson.